It's such an honor to be up here. Bloom event has always been my favorite events in New Life. So I was sitting in the back and I saw how many hands went up for the guests. I just want you to know that you're so lucky if you're a guest and this is your first event. You are so lucky, you're so blessed. It means you've started from a very good foundation and you don't have any other reason not to succeed. I believe next Bloom you're going to come here as a director, if not Sapphire. Thank you. My name's Bingi Nyakwela from Tanzania, the land of Mount Kilimanjaro. It's such a privilege to share my story with you. I pray and hope that it's going to touch some of you and help you in your business. I'm a mother of two. I have twin girls. They're about to turn 9 years old in a couple of weeks. The reason I know because they are reminding me every morning about their birthday. By training, I'm a computer scientist and mathematician. But my story starts with my parents' story, Ayub and Dora. They come from a very humble beginning. We are three in the family, and I'm the youngest of the three. So I've seen them. I've seen their journey in New Life since I was the only one at home when they joined the business. Our aunt, Auntie Grace Rubambe, who's our upline, saw how my parents were struggling to take the three of us to school. It's such a blessing that throughout our lives, we've known our parents to have really, really big dreams. We are struggling and we could see them struggling financially. I would like to say, as how Charlie said, there's a possibility we were poor, but we didn't know we were poor because they had a way of raising us without us knowing that they didn't have much. So my parents always involved us in everything that they did, in every business that they did, in every legit business that they did. So when Neo Life was introduced to them, my dad was a civil engineer and my mom a nurse sister. I've seen a lot of nurses here on stage today. So when the business was introduced to them, they didn't believe in the business. It was very different. We didn't have anybody in the country that has done the business, leave alone succeed in the business. So it was something very, very new. We saw lifestyle magazines then. We didn't know anybody that we knew firsthand. But because they really trusted my auntie, who's our upline, they joined the business. It's one of those, my mom always say, they said yes so they can stop her from bothering them every day, come to meetings, or have you ordered a person, they say, let's just say yes, maybe she'll leave us alone. So they joined, they started using the products without knowing anything about the business. Their health changed. They started earning, and their first check was so little. In shillings, it's 3,000 shillings. Shillings, not dollars. That's equivalent to $1. The reason I'm sharing this is I want to show you for, like the managers, your small check can one day turn into a very big check. Yeah, if you don't give up. So they started doing the business. Luckily, we have a line of very supportive uplines that they used to come and teach my parents how to do the business the right way. Then I totally did not believe in the business, but I started seeing how our lives started changing. As I said, my parents were very big dreamers, and their biggest dream we knew since we were kids was to take us to good schools. And they were very specific. They wanted to take all three of us to universities in America. So for us, it was a joke because we saw how they were struggling to take us to local schools. For them to always say that one day we are going to go to America, we really thought it was a big joke. But I'm standing here as proof of how Neo Life has changed our lives. Years went by, our lives started changing. I saw my parents getting younger and younger. I saw them traveling together, which that had never happened. And I finished high school, and guess where they took me to? College in America. So while I was in America, I started seeing them. You call home, so I'm very close to my parents. Of course, my dad passed, but I'll call home every day, every day. So sometimes you call home and you can't get hold of them. When you get hold of them, they say, "Oh, we're in Zimbabwe. Oh, we're in South Africa. Oh, we're in Nigeria." And I say, "What kind of business are you guys doing?" And mind you, I knew they were doing a neo-life business, but I still did not believe in it. So then they started coming to America on the way to Mexico. Like they'll just pass by and say, "Oh, we're just here for a few days, but we have a meeting in Mexico. We have a meeting in San Francisco." So our eyes started opening, but still personally, I did not believe in the business. So for the guests that are here, if you don't believe in the business, still stick around. Imagine for a person that it's the money from Neo Life that has taken me through college, and I still did not believe in the business. So I graduated with 2 degrees in computer science and mathematics. I was very excited to come back home because I believed I was going to get a very good job. So immediately I packed my things, and I remember just before coming back, they were invited to go to Cape Town. And I remember that time they said, I was talking to my dad, and he said, we can't go to Cape Town, both of them, meaning dad and mom at the same time. So one has to stay behind to take care of things at home, and one will go. And I said, "Dad, just book for both of you, and I'm coming back so I can stay home." So long story short, I packed my things. I came back home with my degrees, thinking I've really achieved so much. I started looking for jobs, and that was the shock of my life. Because the salary offers that I was getting were nothing compared to what my parents had spent for me to get the degrees, but totally not what I expected. So I was invited to meetings like this, even though I joined the business before going to college. So I was invited to different meetings. Again, my parents were my uplines. I was staying with them. I was broke. I didn't have money. So when they say you're going to a meeting, you are going to a meeting. I didn't have an option to say, "Oh, this weekend I'm away." I'm staying with them, so they know I'm not away. I could not afford to go anywhere. So I kept going with them to meetings, and I remember then, this is 20 plus years ago. I remember then, Neo Life was done by like 60 plus years old people. I can't say old. My mom always say, you can say we're old people, not old people. So I want to say I was the youngest in the group all the time. And in my culture, when you walk in, if it's a room of people older than you, you have to say shikamo. That's a respectful way of greeting your elder. So imagine a room of 500 people, and you have to say shikamo to almost everybody. So every time I thought about going to a meeting, well, I didn't have a choice, but I had to go. So long story short, I started learning a thing or two. And then around that time, youth from Uganda started doing the business seriously. They started coming to Tanzania, and the dynamics started changing. There were a bit more younger people doing the business. So I said, let me give it a try. I started slowly, again, not believing. So I go to meetings, but I still take my CV around, hoping to get a job. I became a manager, still didn't believe in the business. I became a senior manager, still didn't believe in the business because my heart was not all in. I became a director. Now I was 50-50. The check was good. I worked harder, I became a sapphire director. Now I was both fit in. So as a sapphire director, I remember my first trip was I went to Nairobi. And mind you, I just come from America. But going to Nairobi was an eye-opener. The world team in here, you've heard the stories about Cape Town. Please make sure you don't quit the business until you become a world team. And experience at least one trip with Neolife. So my eyes were open when I went to Nairobi, and when I came back, I jumped in, both feet in. I saw how the business grew. We started traveling. We've been to different places. I remember my second trip after I became a Sapphire, there was a world team trip in San Francisco. So I went back to America now as a business person with money and time. And I managed to convince a few people because now I believe in the business. I had the confidence. So I was doing the business full time, and my life, I saw how my life changed. I started traveling. I love it still to date. I love traveling. Unfortunately, a few years ago, my dad passed. My dad was, of course, my mom's partner. So when he passed, I joined mom's distributorship as her partner. And this is something very different. I don't know about in South Africa, but where I come from in Tanzania, you cannot inherit your father's job if he passes away. I don't know here. Can you take over your father's position? Not at all. So I inherit my dad's position as a 4Ruby director, and with all the benefits that he has earned. And I say that's something very strong about the marketing plan of Neolife. So now I'm doing the business with my mom. I love it. We travel together. We do the business together. I was sharing about this trip with the leaders in the back, how excited my mom is. She's pretty much here. Because since I left home, she would call, are you already at the airport? You know, the other people are already at the airport. Have you arrived? What time is your connection? We got here. So have you checked in? How's your room? How's Alta and Charlie? I said, Mom, you should have just come. So I was sharing in the back. I check in at the airport, and my bag was overweight. But I didn't think much about it. So I get here, my mom is calling me. How are you feeling? Because I had sore throat and I lost my voice. And she's like, no, you should be chewing ginger and salt. I said, Mom, where am I going to get ginger? She's like, it's in your bag. I put it in your bag. So then I realized why my bag was overweight. And when I opened the bag, my God, there's full motion, there's garlic, there's rest and relax, there's tree, and then fighter defense, pro vitality. I kept saying, I started looking, maybe there's super grow and super ten in there. But I take it positively because she's very, very excited about the business. She's still doing the business full time. My mom is almost 80 years old, very healthy, very fit, but she's full time in the business. I don't see her retiring anytime soon. So I can say that's one of the benefits that I'm gaining, and I'm seeing how healthy she is, or healthier she's becoming. But also I've benefited so much through Neolife. I can say I have time. As I said, I'm a mother of two. And it gives me so much joy. When we were growing up, I remember coming from school. And every time we come home, my mom was always there. And I used to say, I really like this. I hope when I grow up, I'll also be at home when my kids come home. And I'm living that dream right now. So I take my kids to school. Even though I have a driver, but I'm present. I drop them at school, I pick them up. A few weeks ago when we came to Cape Town. So my kids now, we've traveled with them. They think they're entitled to travel with us. So when we were packing, Mom and I packing for Cape Town, they were shocked. You're not going with us? How comes you're not going with us this time? So we are called all the time when we're in Cape Town that they are not well. When I came back, I think second day after we came back, and one of my daughters said, I'm not feeling well. And I said, okay, I'm taking you to school because you have an exam. But should you not feel well, tell your teacher to call me. I will come pick you up at any time. 2 hours went back, I get a phone call from school. Your daughter is not well. And I was free to just get up and go pick her up. But imagine if I had a job. There's no way I could have just be away for a week in Cape Town and then you come back and just get up and go. So those are the things that give me so much joy. I went to pick her up and I see her coming with an entourage of her friends carrying her books, and she looked totally fine. So I picked her up, we went to the hospital, and then she says, Mama, we need to rush back to school because I don't want to miss lunch. And I look at her, but I realize I think she really wants to see if I meant what I said. That if you call me, I will come pick you up. And she was so happy. I dropped her back. I know she was 100% okay. But the business has really given me time, as I said, time with my family, good health. As I've said, my mom looks very good, feels good. My kids are healthy. He has given me freedom to spend and to do what I like to do. My kids, I take them to really good school. I can switch schools whenever I feel that they should go to a better school. But as I feel like I've become a better mother because I'm present, but I can also do the things that I want to do. I was talking to Keith in the back. I've always liked doing adventure stuff. So when I meet with Keith, we always talk about mountain climbing. I've climbed Kilimanjaro 3 times, but it's because of the products that that Neolife is offers, how good they are, and the freedom of time that I have, the financial stability that I have. I can afford to do all these things. I know 3 years ago I decided to do one more mountain climbing. I kept saying it was the last one. I hope it's the last one. Keith, don't convince me to do another one. But yeah, so last time I climbed, it's one of the still active volcanic mountain in Tanzania, and it was the toughest ever. And when we were up there, there was an eruption. And I swore that would be the last time I climbed any mountain. So I got down and I had a bag full of products for the customers in that area in Arusha. I was so sore. I opened every product that was in my bag. Of course, for the customer, I said, I will ship to them other products. But the morning after, I felt so good. So it could be the full motions and the CalMax. I opened everything that was there. Thankfully, I didn't have an order of Herbal Masculine because I would have opened that one too. As I said, we've traveled a lot with Neolife. We've been to so many countries. We've been to South Africa so many times. We've been to Dubai. We've been to America again. But what I like most is the way of the travels there. How Neolife takes us to very, very good hotels. As I shared yesterday in Cape Town, how we got to be given the Jeep tour. You don't see that anywhere. And you can tell they are spending a lot of money to give us the lifestyle that they're promising us. And they deliver whatever they promise. We've been to Paris, we've been to Rome, and thankfully now I've started traveling with my kids. So I guess that's where they're getting the entitlement that they're supposed to travel with us. So Charlie gave me a line that always rings in my head. He told me one time, do not let school interfere with education. So he advised me, whenever you can afford to travel with your kids, don't leave them behind because they have to go to school. They will learn more when they travel with you than when you leave them at school. So I took that advice to heart. I've traveled to Paris with them, and I was amazed how much they knew about Paris. I've traveled to Rome with them. So day before yesterday, when I was coming here, I'm leaving the house and hugging them goodbye. One said, I can't believe you're traveling without us. And she said, you know, when I grow up and I have my daughter, I'm never going to leave my daughter at home. So I knew she was trying to get me guilty. And then she said, but it's okay. We're traveling together in September because we have to go to Portugal in September. So I'm looking at Mom, how do they find out that there's a trip? But traveling with them, they are also learning firsthand about the business. I'm a Rotarian in Dar es Salaam. So I had a fellow Rotarian visiting our shop. And they had met her before. So one of my daughters said, "Oh, we know you have a daughter. How's your daughter doing? Is your daughter using supplements?" And I was also shocked, and the lady was shocked. And then she said, "Come over." And she pulled out Vita Square. They call them Twinkle Twinkle, I think because they look as stars. And they say, "Is your daughter using this? These are very yummy." And my daughter started going on and on and on. And she said, "Have you used, is she using omega-3? This is really good for her mind." And I didn't know they knew all of this. But it's because I'm involving them, just like how my parents involved me in the business. Do you know, half an hour later, my daughter pulled out a Pro Vitality. And she said, you be using this. We see our mother using this every day." That lady joined right away. Thankfully, my daughters don't know about bonuses because they would have asked for their share of bonus. But what we are happy the most about the business is how the business in Tanzania has grown. It has really grown. We have leaders, we have better leaders than us that make us look so good. The Tanzanian team is sitting over there. But we are so proud of the leaders that we have in Tanzania. We are learning so much from our downlines right now, all the new tricks, if it's social media. But we are more happy because it means we are touching more lives. We are changing more lives in Tanzania. Just to end, what I've also learned through my parents' story is how this business can help you leave legacy. You know, you can earn money, but how many lives are you changing by you earning more money? So sometimes we say the business may not be for you. Maybe it's for someone else. If you think it's not for you, don't keep it to yourself. Make sure you share the business with someone else. Last Sunday, we had a meeting. We had about 1,000 people in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And as you all know, last Sunday was Father's Day. So as we were celebrating my dad, he was very emotional. It's 13 years since he passed. But I'm looking at all these people in the room, over 1,000 people. Chances are, if he did not say yes to the business, those people would have not been there. It's 13 years down the road, but his yes is still impacting a lot of other people's lives. So for us that are in here, the business can really, really change our lives, but it can change a lot of other lives out there. So let's go out there. As Charlie has said, I know there's a line by Zig Ziglar. Charlie always like to talk about it. You can get anything you want in life as long as you help enough other people get what they want. Thank you very much.